Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm getting there. I'm getting set up. All right. Hello, friends. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am almost ready to get going here. I have one last thing to do. Get on here so that I can see comments. There he is there. Hello, friends. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to month 4 of Legit Kits, block of the month. So along. Oh, wait, my light. Forgot to turn my light on. Hello, 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 Navy Brat. All right. So welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Legit Kits, block of the month, month 4. So what are we building here? When we are all done after month 12, we will have a kit. We will have a quilt that looks like this. Yes. This month, we are building a block that's going to, or 4 blocks that will come together and look like this. When we are all done today, we will have this top corner done. Okay? So what are you going to get in your kit? You're going to get the front page, which is your design. A little bit about it. Today's total is going to be a 15 by 20 inch top. It's 1 dot, so it's the easiest type of quilt that they make. Lots of large details with a few technical blocks. We're going to be using 12 colors today. And I have, if you get the full kit, it's going to come with Kona colors. I have picked out some batiks that I'm going to be working with. There's 20 pieces in today. So, and if you want a screenshot, there's a QR code. Let me get it in the right panel. There's a QR code. It's reversed, so you'll have to reverse it. I'm on Instagram also, so that's why I'm kind of going to the other camera too. All right, so this is what our 4 blocks are going to break down as. It's going to come with, these are the colors that it will come with. Listed by code. There's going to be 1 block today that we have to put 2 halves together, like we've done before. We'll go through that again. And the cutting guides for how to best use your colors. There is for each color in here. And then we've got our pattern pieces. I've got it printed out twice here, and I did not get them separated out. So there's the second half. So these 5 pages are going to make into 4 blocks. So this will be hopefully a pretty quick process. Other months it has taken me about an hour or so to put each month together. So let's get started. If anyone has any questions, I do have my camera, my feeds showing up here, so I will try to keep an eye out and look for any questions that are popping up, but shoot me a question or a comment as we go along if you need to. I am using a light box here. It is not necessary. It is helpful. There is an Amazon link in my link tree that has this. This is it's a light box, and there is a translucent cutting mat on top of it. You will need a ruler of some sort. This is an add a quarter ruler. It's going to butt up against your piece so that you can cut your 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is not necessary. You could do this with a regular cutting ruler. I have a rotary cutter. I've got my good scissors for cutting fabric, and I've got my paper scissors for cutting any paper. Let's leave that. This goes over there. I don't need those for very much. I've got my iron turned on over there. It'll probably turn off and I'll have to warm it up by the time I get over there because it doesn't take much. My sewing machine, stitch length, the default on it comes up at 2.4. I'm going to drop down to 2.0. The more times this fabric or the paper is punctured, the easier it's going to tear away. Excuse me for coffee break. It's early. I will download all of this onto my YouTube channel when I'm all done here. All right, so first block is C3. And our first color is going to be DK and SX. So I'm going to pull those. There's my DK. And there's my SX. So I got 2 yellows. And this is kind of how I started out with organizing my fabrics. This is just a paper sleeve holder. And that way, if I have a small piece, I can put it down in there. With this project, it's not so much that you're going to need a small piece later on. Apparently I had 2 pieces of fabric in there. With some of the other Legit Kit patterns, where you do have a whole lot of itty-bitty bits, it really makes a big difference. So here I can see, there's my seam line here, and this is my other seam line here, so I'm going to be cutting along this line. I'm going to give myself a little extra. I'm going to do my, pull my tablecloth out from underneath trick. Then I'm going to put this back in its bag so that it doesn't get confused, because there's a lot of colors that are similar. Now, is this DK? Is that SX? Let's find out. So that's why I keep them contained, keep them in their own space as much as possible. Now we're going to cut this piece out. Welcome in, friends. Welcome. We're working on a quilt block of the month. All right, there's that seam line there. Don't know that you can necessarily see it on this live, but on this feed, but trust me, you can see it there. If you don't have a light box, what could you use? Your window. You could use a glass top coffee table. Works wonderfully. Hold it up to the light in the room. Can't quite cut on it like this, but you can see whether or not your pieces are lining up. All right, so we've got our first 2 pieces. Now I'm going to flip this over because we're going to build the fabric on this side and sew on the lines on this side. So I'm going to take that DK. Oops, did go this way. Make sure everything's covered. So I got a little extra thing that hangs out here, but that's all right. Yeah, I'm just gonna, this has got a curve in it. I'm just gonna hit it with the iron real quick. So it doesn't roll over on itself or something. Now this seam here is actually back here a little bit. This doesn't actually follow the seam line, and that's okay. So this is gonna go like here. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to flip it over and check to make sure that I'm going good. Do any adjustments that need to happen. And then I'm going to throw a couple pins in way out here so that it doesn't wiggle while I go this long distance to the sewing machine. I was afraid of that. I felt that. Darn it. I felt that as I sewed it. It folded over. I just picked out the stitch that made the crease. I'm going to leave those other stitches in. It's okay. I'm going to put a pin in down here to hold it from flipping over again. And I'm just going to re-sew this. Welcome in, friends. So there we go. Now we're good. And we're going to take these pins out. I'm going to trim this seam allowance back down to something more traditional of a seam allowance. Now this add a quarter will kind of bump up against that folded over edge. Trim that off. And I'm going to take this over to the ironing board. Press it. Oh, fuck. I didn't put it on here right. I didn't cover it. Okay, now I'm going to truly cut this out. Dang it. You will do this at least once with every project. Last month I think I did this on the first seam too. I need to make sure I get up early enough so I have caffeine in me before I start. Yep. There's always one seam that just doesn't want to go right. All right. So we had it like this. It needs to go like this. So we'll flip it over this way. Throw a couple pins in all the way up this time. Keep you from folding over, shifting, or otherwise misbehaving. Alright, which quilt am I working on? I am working on the Legit Kits Block of the Month Vortex. And this is, it will look like this when it is all done. We are currently working on month 4, so what we're going to work on today will look like this when we're done. And it is these 4 blocks right here. So now I'm going to take this over to the ironing board and press it, and look, it covers it all. All right. So there we go. Now I'm gonna trim off this big extra piece here. And now we're gonna trim this seam line down to be the right size. So I've just got a scrap postcard. It can be whatever, junk mail. This was a recipe from a distillery. Just gonna put that along the seam line, fold it over, and then my add a quarter right up against there. There we go. This doesn't fill that 1/4 inch, but that's okay. That's okay. HR is our next color. So we're gonna cut a piece to cover this area here. Hello friends, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to cut there. I'm seeing my seam line there. Now I'm going to pull that out, my magic tablecloth there. Alright, so this piece should fit right there. Okay, so we're going to go right there, fold this down. Give it a couple quick securing pins because apparently we need those this morning. And we'll sew this. And that will press up and cover everything. I'll be right back. Let me just press this. There we go. One more piece on here. We're going to flip this over. On the sew line, we're going to fold this over and trim it down. And now we're going to get KL. And this piece is going to go right here. There we go. And this piece is going to go like that. Put that over. Welcome in, friends. Welcome, welcome. You can hang out for a while, watch me work on this foundation paper piece quilting project. Sew this seam. And then I'm going to get all my pins out. Yes, I am quilting from a kit. This is a block of the month kit from Legit Kits. Let me just press this here. When we are all done after a year, our project will look like that. This is month 4 of the project. And what we're doing today... What did I just do with that paper? Should be right here. Oh, there it is right there. What we're doing today will end up looking like this. And so here is piece 1. This is this quarter of it. So let me just trim this to size. All right, so there is that. That is that corner, this corner of that. So it is this block right here. This, it's a block of the month that it has already closed, but there will be another block of the month coming. It'll be a little more complex than this, but legitkit.com. If you go to my link tree, there are links in the link tree for Legit Kits. I am one of their ambassadors, so I kind of help promote this. But there is block 1 for this month. Now let's move on to the second block for this month, and that is going to be this block right here, C4. There are 4 pieces in this. I need coffee. I need a sip of my coffee though first. Okay, I got a comment from Shelby on my Instagram. I have a light board that I'm working on here, and this is a translucent cutting mat that fits on top of this because this is not rotary cutter safe. Ask me how I know. Thank you for the follow. So here is this first one that we're going to do. And now we are going to move on to this one here. We've set this someplace safe. If you were here my first month, you know why we do safe, because first month, one of my blocks went flying across the room. All right, so we need color HR again. We'll get this back out of the bag. I know it seems kind of a pain in the butt to go in and out and in and out and in and out of the bags, but it really does make a difference because the colors look so similar, and it's so easy to accidentally get the wrong color, and that sucks. All right, so first block, first piece, I got my sewing line here. And I'm just going to cut big enough. And then we'll fold this and put this back away. So Shelby, or everybody know, I've got a TikTok feed and an Instagram feed going on. So if I see your comment, I will try to comment, to reply. My Instagram feed is quite a bit delayed. I've noticed that in the past. So you may think I'm responding to something you said on Instagram, but I'm actually something that said 20 seconds later on TikTok. Okay, unfold. What the heck? Oh, threads. This is a torn piece. There. Yeesh. Maybe. There we go. All right, so now I need to cut this OZ piece here. Rough chop to get that piece. That's fine. That is a good question. This is an LED light box that I'm working on here. And there is a translucent cutting mat on top of it because this is not rotary cut safer. Rotary cutter safe. Wow. Words. That's a very legitimate question. All right, so now this piece, make sure we get this going the right way. So we've got our seam line here. We want to make sure we have that seam line covered. It's preferably about 1/4 inch. And then this one is going to go like this. No, I've cut it to go like this. And we're going to then flip it over. Well, I need to press that to get that wrinkle out. Otherwise, I'm going to regret that. That's a better. All right. So that'll go on like that. Flip that over. We'll throw a couple pins in to hold it still so it doesn't flip over on us. Outside of the seam line, since we won't be able to pull them out of the way. And then stitchy stitchy once I make sure I can have my tail held. All right, so there's that. And we're going to flip this over. I'm going to go press this real quick. There we go. Sometimes the batik shops, especially, they will tear the fabric instead of cutting it. Supposedly it makes it go straighter, but you end up with all of these strings. It's driving me nuts. All right, so now I need to fold this over, but that stitch line needs to just be popped. Just tearing the paper away in that seam line so that I can do my fold here. Good morning, Meggers. Thank you for sharing it, for sharing my live. I'm going to fold this over. This is basic foundation paper piecing. This is a pretty easy project here. And then I'm going to put my add 1/4 on there, and that lip kind of holds it in place. Trim off the excess. And then we're going to get SX. Sorry, I was just checking my comments. All right, SX. It's one that we just used. It's this one here, right? Yep. All right, so we need a pretty big size piece of this. So I can see through this one. I see my seam line there. Some of them you can see through better than others. This one I know I'm going to have a little piece here to trim off, but that will happen when we trim up afterwards. So I'm just going to freehand cut. Look away if you guys are squeamish. There we go. It's all clear. And we'll put our fabric away. Yes, they are nice and easy. So you've already got yours all done. Excellent. Now, are you doing your own fabrics or are you going with a full kit? Good morning, Bex. You got the full kit. Excellent. All right. Now, when you get that full kit, did you know that with Legit Kits, if you mess up and you miscut something and now you don't have enough fabric to do what you want to do, you can contact them and they will send you out more fabric without any additional cost to you. That is their guarantee that they will make sure that you are happy in doing their project. What quilt am I working on? I am working on Legit Kit Block of the Month Vortex. It will look like this when we're done. This is month 4. What we're doing here today will look like this. We've already done the first block. I'm 3/4 done with the second block. You wish you could have done this? There will be more coming. There will be another block of the month coming. Starting in October. Follow Legit Kits on all their socials and you can find out more about it. The next kit is not going to be this simple, but everything is doable. Now I need TC. I need just a little bit of this. That I have a whole bunch of. Now I'm just going to eyeball free cut a piece of this because then I want to unfold the whole darn thing. That's a great intro. Yes, it is. Absolutely. This is a wonderful intro to the Legit Kits. You can't get much easier than this as far as foundation paper piecing goes. And you get such a striking project when you are done. There are other Legit kits that are pretty easy. One of my favorite ones is Sculliver, and he's actually one of the easier ones. Anytime you look at any of their projects, look at these little dots here, and that will tell you how challenging that kit is. This has 1 dot. It is one of the easiest kits. If it's got 3 dots, it's got lots of itty bitty little pieces in it. And it might not be your best choice for a first project. Typically, their smaller projects, physically smaller projects, are some of the more complex because they still want to get those details in there, and those details turn out to be super tiny. All right, there is block 2 done. So we've got these 2 done so far. Now we're going to work on our 3rd block. And that'll be this one here. So we're going to start it with SB and AF. So SB is this one here. This one I kind of questioned whether it was a good fabric for this because it's kind of directional. It is directional. So we're going to take a little more time to cut it out. So I'm going to use a mechanical pencil since this is a directional one. So here's, you just looked up, oh, Edgar the Raven is cool. That's one I have not done, but it's cool. So this fabric is directional, so I want to try to keep it all point in the same direction. Whoop, my lead just fell off the back side of my pencil. That's where that random eraser came from, apparently. All right, so I think I've got that lined up. You know what I'll do? I'll line up like this to make sure I'm straight. So I'm going to mark on here my pattern piece, the seam lines. Alright, so my seam lines are there. Now I'm going to trim it with seam allowances. So that I can keep this straight. This is not what I would highly recommend. This would not be a fabric that I would recommend if you're just getting started. Or you have to kind of look over and say, I don't care that it's not straight. Well, you know what? I am caring that this is straight, so. All right, so there's that piece. The rest of it will be easy, I promise. I just made this hard myself. The cutting mat that I have over my light is a translucent cutting mat. It does not have a name brand on it, but on my TikTok page, I have a link tree, and on that there is an Amazon list, and it is listed there. I got it off Amazon. Okay, so to go with this one, it is going to go like that. I need AF, which is this here. Thank you for the follow. is my line. Yeah, there were not too many choices for translucent. And I actually started out with one that was much smaller and nearly instantly regretted it. And that was this one here. This one is Alvin brand. But it was so small that I had to constantly move it around. So make sure if you have a light box, get a translucent mat that is as big as your light box. All right, so now let's put these two on here. We've got our fussy cut one. How did we cut this? Oh, boogers. Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong one. It's this one. Okay. So there's that. And then this is going to go here. Like that. A couple pins in there. Take that little extra moment to make sure everything's lined up. Yes, quilting is fun. Press this over. And then we're going to trim at this seam line here. And SX, this one here, yep. Thank you for the follows, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So we can see the seam line there. There. And we're going to just freehand cut this out here. So watch it, look away if you don't like this. There we go. Thank you for all the likes, guys. All right, and then we're going to sew this to here. Throw a couple pins out here just to keep it from flipping out. Or if you're feeling confident, you could just carefully bring it over to the machine. I'm just not feeling that this morning. And then we're going to press this up. Alright, and then we'll trim off for this corner over here. Now this add a quarter, I actually have it in 3 different sizes. I have a little one that I could have used for that same. I've got this one that's great for this project, and I actually have one that's even bigger and fatter. So you get whatever size works for you. And I also, for when I do projects that are really, really finicky, I have an add an 1/8 for when we're doing teeny tiny. Picture of the quilt. Yes, absolutely. This is what it will look like when we are all done. This is a block of the month. We are currently working on month 4, which is these 4 blocks right here. So it will, when we're done today, it will look like this. Okay? So I need DK, which is this yellow one here. And tell you, I'm going to take this little scrap that I found in the bag, and we're going to put that right there. It's extra big, but that works. From legitkit.com. In my link tree, there is a link. This one is no longer available for purchase. You had to start it. This is called Vortex. You had to purchase this one back before they started in May. But there will be another block of the month coming. Check out Legit Kits page, and there are lots of patterns that are on there. Keep an eye open, and there will be more block of the month coming. They did not do this one where you could kind of jump in and catch up. You had to start at the beginning. This is the first time they've done a block of the month, so they wanted to make it as successful as possible. Just trim this all down, and now we have 3 blocks done. Okay? So let's work on that last block. This is the only one that there are extra pieces to it, and that's just this little corner is extra. So it's going to be these 5 pieces and then these 3 pieces, and we'll put this corner on here, and then we'll be done. Oh, my watch says I haven't moved enough. Well, watch. Okay, so we need, are we done with this color? I think we are done with this color. Let's get that out of the way. SX, are we using SX again? Yes, we are. So I need AF first. I need this one first. The cutting mat, yeah, it does make me sad that it's not available anymore. The cutting mat is a LED light box with a translucent cutting mat on top of it. Both of these are in my link tree on the Amazon link. They're not the only ones available. Those just happen to be the ones that I purchased. The ones that were a good deal when I was in the market. Alright, so we're going to go like that. Okay, now we need a U. A U. Set that aside so it doesn't accidentally get snagged on something. All right, thank you for the follows, guys. All right, they're more square like this, so I'm just going to go like this with it and cut across it at the appropriate place. Normally I have music on, but this video, when we're done with our live, I will download this and then upload it onto my YouTube channel. So if anybody has any questions, they can go over there and re-watch. You can always DM me and I will try to answer questions for you. But that's why I have no music, because if you put music on YouTube, they take it down. They don't like you to do that. It's quiet in here. Usually I'm singing along to music when I'm doing this stuff. All right. It's not. All right, I will double check when I get done here and make sure it's still on there. Maybe it's not available on Amazon anymore. That's possible. That if it's no longer available, it may be off my list. But yeah, any of the LED light boxes, and I think this one was one that it was an Amazon choice or something like that. Like I said, I don't see any name brand on either one of these, but it was $35. It was less than $50. The mat was almost as much as the box. All right, so there's those two. Now our third one is going to be this little QM strip down here. Okay, we barely have a seam line there, but that's okay. As long as there is something to catch on to. As long as there's something to catch on to, it'll be okay. QM is this one here. And it's going to be just a little strip. I'm just going to wing it. Been doing a lot, yeah, and it does make a big difference. It makes life a whole lot easier. Yeah, I've been working on my Dear Jane quilt and a lot of foundation paper piecing in that because that makes life easier. And yeah, I use this a lot for that. Thank you for the follows. right. Now we'll go up here. Now we need TC. What is TC? Oh, it's this one. Thank you for the follows, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate that. All right, so I've got pretty much a square corner here. So I will do this. Sometimes you can see your line through. Sometimes the fabric is a little thick. Like that. This is going to go here. Yep, feeling brave, feeling dangerous. Doing it without pinning it first. A couple stitches in and then I'll hold it together. Thank you, friends. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to press that up now. All right. And now we're going to fold this over. Fold right on that line, on the sewing line. Trim off your 1/4 inch. And now we're going to grab SX, which happens to be right on top of my pile here. And we're going to cut that piece out. Trim that off. What type of paper is it? It is newsprint. You can get newsprint that is cut the right size to fit in your printer. And it tears away super easy when you are all done. It's going to go right on there. It is more translucent so that you can see through it. And it's relatively inexpensive. Again, on that Amazon list, I've got there was anyways, a link to a ream of paper for like $5. So, all right. So here we go. We're going to trim this down. And then we have one more little piece to fill in over there. So there's that one trimmed down. And now we've got, yes, it does dull the needle a little quicker, but there is no way that you are going to get some of the precise piecing that you can get with foundation paper piecing without using this technique. And the weird shapes, the unique shapes. So yes, I do replace my needle more often than I would if I was sewing regular stuff. All right. So I've got 3 colors that I need for this over here. Oops. Get back in there. So not that one. Not that one, not that one. I need these 3 right here. So I need a little smidget of this. That's my edge. So I'm just going to whack off pieces for this. They're tiny. I can just kind of eyeball my piecing. And then I'm going to put it to a piece of TA, which is this color here. And that'll cover there. So, TA. RP. Hold it up to my light box, make sure I've got a good 1/4 inch. I have a Janome Memory Craft 6700. Going to fold on the seam. You're a Bernina girl? Yes. I always had a FAF, and pandemic sewing, I made a bazillion masks, and my FAF said enough and retired itself. So I was on the hunt for a machine in the height of everybody else deciding they wanted to learn how to sew. And I knew I do a lot of sewing, so any of the big box machines, the ones that you're going to find in your Walmarts, Joann's, and all of that stuff, they just would not hold up to what I do. So then trying to get into a quilt shop when they had limited the number of people that could go in, I ended up at a store that sold Janomes because I could get in the door. The store that sold FAFs, because I wanted another FAF, I couldn't get in the door. So I went down the street to the store that sold Janomes, and I liked this machine. It fell within my budget, and that came home with me. Oh yeah, I have some vintage machines too, most of which need help. Alright, so let me press this. This is our last piece. We'll attach this to the little corner where it belongs. It does not embroider. No. I really don't have a need or desire to embroider. So that eliminated all of those machines right off the bat. This one has a bunch of specialty stitches. So I've used those when I like machine sew down a binding. But beyond that, I really don't have a need or desire for embroidery. You have a Juki serger, nice. I have a serger, I don't even know what brand it is. I'm not even sure where it is at this point. I think it's in my son's computer room. I don't garment sew. It doesn't bring me joy. So this is going to go on here, and you're going to look at that and go, oh my God, how does that fit on there? This is one of those optical illusions. This seam and this seam are the same. It's the seam allowances that are throwing you off. So those will fit on there. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to drop a pin right at this intersection where all of those seams come together. And it's going to match up with where these two seams come together. I'll put that there on the seam line. And then I'm just going to pinny, pin, and I'll pin. And then I'm just going to stitch that. You're thread painting on your treadle. That's impressive. I have a treadle machine. I've sewn one quilt on it. I wish I could say I've done more. Hardly had any problems with it. Awesome. Broke most of my fingernails, so this part is more challenging. I used to have 10 good fingernails, and I'm down to 2. So trying to tear off the paper has become much more challenging. Might actually have to break down and get a pair of tweezers out. All right, so I take the paper out of that seam line, and I'm going to press this over. With the seam lines with Legit Kits, I tend to press them open. You get a lot of seams coming together like that, you're going to end up with a lot of bulk. Just makes life a little easier, in my opinion, to press them open. Because sometimes you'll have seams, points that come together like that on both sides of your seam. All right, so now we've got all 4 done. Get it the right way. So now I'm going to sew these together. I'm going to put these two together, and then top and bottom. Okay? I have seen that done. I have not tried doing it myself with the freezer paper. Yeah, Willow, I think we would all watch that. I can't scroll back through my comments, but you're the one that does the thread painting on a treadle. I would definitely watch that. Definitely. That sounds fun. All right, so Put my pin through that seam where they all come together. And then I'm going to do the same up here at the corner, where the corners come together, and where the corners come together down here. And then I'm just going to hold those perpendicular and put some in horizontal. Now I'm going to sew this. She has a free class on her website. Nice. And these guys are going to come together. Working on the coconut chip pattern. Interesting. Maddie the quilter. You're quilting while watching. Nice. Coconut chip. Interesting. What is a coconut chip pattern? Thank you for the follows. Alright, we'll sew this. Alright, now we're going to tear the paper out of the seam line. It's easy for beginners, but my mom adores it. Okay. Welcome in, friends. Welcome, welcome. See, this tears away real easy. Especially if you have decent fingernails, which I don't have right now. Wah. Whine, whine, whine. But that newsprint tears away super easy. All right, I'm going to go press these seams open. We are making, now I've just buried my pattern. When we are all done with this block of the month at the end of the year, it will look like this. Right now we are working on this month's patterns. It is from Legit Kits. It's a block of the month called Vortex. All right, so now we've got this one and this one that we're going to put together. Line that seam line, or those seams up in the center. And we really don't have a whole lot to line up. We do have this here. Corner, obviously, and then I'm just going to throw one more pin in here, and then over here we've got this oh, too much, too big of a bite. Those guys. And that corner. And partway there. Alright, let's sew this seam. We'll have this month all done. I haven't had my serger long, used it a few times, need to do more. I've had my serger for a long time. I bought it used off a friend, and I rarely use it. Definitely has a purpose when you do need it, but I don't typically sew garment sewing, so. All right. Grandmother or not, nice name. All right, let's get rid of the paper in these seam lines. Thank you for all of the follows today, guys. Thank you for everybody hanging out with me. It's been a nice crowd in here this morning. Really appreciate that. So the next month, every month the blocks usually come out. The digital file is released and the paper ones are, or the full kits are sent out somewhere around the 20th, 21st, I think 21st it goes out. 21st, 27th, somewhere in that ballpark. So typically about either that next weekend or the weekend after is when I will do my live sew along like we're doing right here. So keep an eye out on my feed and I will announce when I'll be on. Typically I do Saturdays at noon. This month I had stuff going on yesterday. I couldn't make that happen. So that's typically when you'll see me. All right, so there we are. You've been looking at Legit Kits for months but haven't jumped off yet. Jump off the deep end. So there is that one. All right, and here is the other ones. Tell you what, I'm gonna move your perspective here a little bit, guys, so you can see. Oh, let's see how we gonna do this. How we gonna do this? All right. So we've got there. That's what we just did. And my fan's messing that up. That is what we've got done so far. Looking pretty cool. Now I can't see my screen. Thank you for the follows. You can't jump off yet. Do it. Now, if you can't do it, you can't do it. That's cool. There will be another block of the month, so if it's a financial thing, it's a little less ouchy to do a little bit every month. So there will be another block of the month coming up, and that will be, I believe, in October, give or take a little bit. So keep an eye out for that. And that one is going to be a little bit more challenging, but really, really eye-catching. So, does anyone have any questions about Legit Kit? I thought about sewing these guys together at this point, but I think I'm going to wait. Just because of how to keep them stored and whatever. But that's what we've got. That's what we've done so far. That is, excuse me as I step on my fluff. So we have this top quarter done. Next month we'll be getting this and this, and then starting at month 8, we're going to be going to getting 8 blocks at a time. So we'll be doing like this much at once. Does it tell you how much fabric you will need? Newbie here. Yes, you can, with all of the Legit Kit kits, you can either choose to get a digital version, in which case you will get a listing of all of the fabrics that you're going to need and how much of each one. Like with this month, it came with a list of these are the fabrics that you'll need and this is how much you'll need of each one. Or if you choose to do a full kit, then it will come with all of the fabric that you need, and they do have a guarantee that you will have enough fabric. If you mess up and cut things wrong, then you can email them and they'll send you a new piece. If the dog runs off with your pattern and destroys everything, email them, let them know what you need replaced. They'll send it out to you without any additional cost. They're very, very good about that. They want you to finish your project. They want you to make sure that you're happy with it and all of that stuff. All right, I'm going to sign off from here. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I may be back on here later today. I do have some other things I need to get working on quilt-wise. I will definitely be on here tomorrow. I've got to start getting my Dear Jane put together because I got all the blocks done. I need to get some. I need to throw some videos out there because I'm actually done with all of my blocks now. So I will. That's going to be my next project. I'm going to be putting 2 videos out for that here in the next couple minutes because I had to show you how I redid something. Yes, they do have a UFO program, absolutely. You can, for an additional fee, when you buy your kit, you can guarantee that you will not end up with a UFO. If you do end up with, I'm over my head and I can't do this, you can send it back to them. They'll give you all of the money back. And if there are any that are returned, you can purchase them at a discounted price, but I don't think they have any that have been returned that are currently available, last I've heard. That could change in a matter of moments, but we are talking about Legit Kits, which is the the company that made this quilt here, this quilt pattern here. Check them out. They are in my link tree. But I am going to sign off of here, guys, and get on with the rest of my Sunday. I will download this, upload it onto YouTube if you have any questions. But enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great day, guys. Bye.